everything's fine, but I don't believe you, baby. It feels like something's wrong. There must be something wrong. The shit gets tense like the glass might crack, and I got this monkey on my back. Foundation shake, I guess that's my mistake. Then take a dive and dive to that lane. Keep on going back and forth like we're at war. Show to my core the what's up for. Break down the door, I've never been to this land before. But I asked, I feel so close. What's it all for, baby? I wonder, what's it all for? Yeah. What's it all for, darling? What's it all for? Well, I say things have to change, and I know you ain't fond of that. I'm breathing close, but it's hard to gain. And if I stand, I may lose the seat in which I'm sat. Shit gets tense, so I put the glass away. Save it for another day. And as they should, foundation stood smooth. Always had tonight, there's points to prove. Keep on going back and forth, like we're at war. Show to my core the what's up for. Break down the door, I've never been to this land before. But I asked, I feel so close. What's it all for, baby? I wonder, what's it all for? Yeah. What's it all for, darling? What's it all for? But I asked, I feel so
All right, what's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. For some of you, actually, don't really think there's anybody yet in New Year's in 2026. But some of y'all are getting close. My people out there in Asia, Australia. But yeah, guys, let's dive into it. It's been an epic year, right? Absolutely epic year. We launched Tradetopia this year. Nance and I got married this year. We were in like 4 different continents this year. We were able to see so many of you guys get to new milestones, whether it's taking your first trades, getting funded for the first time, getting your first payout, hitting your first 4-figure payout, 5-figure payout, having your first 6-figure year. And it's just been incredible to be part of the journey. I think we're ending this year and just with the conversations I have with a lot of you guys, just seeing the way your mind has transformed, your attitude towards yourself, towards life, towards what's possible, transforming it's just been cool to be part of the process overall. So I'm grateful for it and grateful for the last 7 months or so of having Tradetopia here, officially available for everybody basically every single day. And we don't look to really change that anytime soon. So just look forward to growing alongside you guys going into 2026. I hope that you've created an intention for the next year, that you've established certain specific action steps you want to take to do something that is beyond what you've ever done before. So let's go ahead, let's do it, let's make it happen, and let's get into the markets. What do we got going on here today? Man, today was one of those days where I'm like, why do I sleep? But, sleep is good for the soul, and it was really good for the mind. But the oil buy, what a beauty. What a beauty here. This trade triggered basically going through London's session. We get a nice little setup right here. So if you took it even off the open, right, fantastic risk reward. If you took this to the highs, then you got a beautiful 6.25R. If you took this off the open, then about a 4R. If you were more conservative and you were thinking to yourself, you know what, let me just kind of trade this. This had already actually taken out the imbalance. So from here, it was basically just, this was the target. So either way, amazing trade. Shout out to Joe Ryan, who he went over this. He brought this up to my attention on our syndicate session yesterday. We were going over the setups that we took yesterday, dissecting, NQ, YM, the yen, oil, different ideas. We have different traders going over what they did, why they did it. And so one of them was Joe, who had brought up this idea and just asked my thoughts on it. He was already convicted to take it, which it was a good setup. We all agreed on it. Unfortunately, I was sleeping, but ideally you weren't. So did you take this, Joe? Are you in this? All right, let's see here. What's up, Kaya? Cesar, ¿cómo estás? Gayard, morning. Grand rising, everyone. What's up, Brandon Rands? Ismael, un gran cierre de año. Yes, sir. Oil trade ended up working out, hitting for a 4R, making me hit an all-time high for the year of 2025. December is now my biggest month of the year. Let's go, Joe. Come on. I love it. Can't wait for 2026 and the progress it will bring. That's right. Morning, Harshi. Happy New Year's Eve, fam. What's up, Seth? I saw them as well, but I was sleeping. End of the year with the bang. Yeah, let's go. All right, what's up, Zoe, Edgar, Vaughn, DeAndre. What a year. I took it. I forgot I had it set up. Nice. I love it. Beautiful accidents. Current oil shakeout sell setting up now. What's good? What's good? All right. Hello, everybody. So, yeah, if, you got some traders, you want them to get some value, see if we make some money together today, let them know. Okay, so I was also looking for a sell on oil over here. We had rejected this order block here. So we came up a little bit higher, and then we are bleeding out now. I'd argue that this is already done with like this movement. I think just already what happened. Quite an exchange of money over here. So I do think we have mitigated all of this. And yes, so DeAndre, you bring up a good point. we saw the massive move that swept liquidity over here. So smart money comes in, smart money buys come in, liquidate retail sellers. From this moment, this, right, sweeps out retail sellers, lures in retail buyers. Here we get the pullback. So this is where typically you get the break and retest traders. So what I would want to see from here now is I want to see this consolidate a little bit longer. I want to see this lure in a bit more buyers. And then if we do get the move to the upside, I'm very much open to selling and seeing this work its way further down. So let's keep an eye out on this. You guys let me know if we start getting a bit closer to this area. Hopefully this takes its time to trade down here, build up more retail buys, and then we can make our move. So for now, we'll keep that as it is. Give me a second here. Let me just double check my trade copier. Make sure everything is synced up. All right. Okay. We are good to go. All right. Has anyone else been using TradeSyncer? How are you guys enjoying it? If so, and let me know if you guys have any questions on that too. All right. So, yeah, so that's oil. Oil here, chilling. Let's go look at indices. All right, indices had a very interesting movement. So right now, everything just kind of popped off. So we had the market work its way further down, filled a bit more of this gap in here, traded down to this level. There is more of an imbalance below as well still. So we do have more of an imbalance here, liquidity over here. So can we work our way down to these areas maybe over the course of the next few days? I think it's very possible. So let's go take a look. So that's NQ. Meanwhile, YM, so Dow Jones, worked its way. It kind of just really stayed pretty bullish overall. We had already mitigated from yesterday around this area, so we didn't really go too much further down. We're still within Christmas or the 23rd, this kind of structure in here. This also has more incentive to fill the imbalance, and there's definitely like motive for price to come down here. So let's see if today we start the day off relatively bullish to then get a nice sell out of this area. So there's multiple zones that I like here, but there's one area that I'm looking at first, which is I'm looking at a couple things here. So one, yesterday we surprisingly didn't liquidate all of this. So going into Tuesday, so the second Asian session of the week, the second London session of the week here, we built up a ton of retail sellers, a lot of liquidity, and we didn't get to this yesterday. So if you guys remember, if you go back on yesterday's stream, we were trading NASDAQ for the buys, and I ended up getting into this for a second idea, and I got a pretty nice trade. But NASDAQ does liquidate London session, Asian session, and it takes care of some liquidity that was built up here based off of the equal highs. We don't quite clear New York over here. So we don't really clear the highs of New York session, Monday's New York session, and this is Tuesday's New York session. So I wouldn't be surprised if we liquidate yesterday's New York high. Wouldn't be completely surprising. And I want you guys to look at something from comparing price action. So we have yesterday's high, New York high, and then we had London lows over here with NQ. NASDAQ has done a very, very good job of rallying back towards price action here. So very deep retracements right away. Meanwhile, we have Dow Jones that's also been a bit slower It hasn't been as aggressive to work its way up. It has been slowly working its way up, and it's now trading into these, basically the Tokyo highs. Like, it's kind of where it's sitting at. So if you guys can notice, there's a lot of liquidity here. There's basically equal highs from the second half of New York session. You have New York open right up here, tons of Tokyo and London session liquidity here. And then this was Monday's last spike up before all of this liquidity gets built up. So for sells, I would prefer shorting Dow at the moment. It's just working its way upwards very slowly. So I would like selling up here. Going to keep in mind, obviously, what an NQ is doing and kind of just how they relate to one another. But the shorts in this zone they look solid. You know, this just looks like a great area to sell in. And I don't really need a deep retracement to look for a sell here either. Just kind of like poking into this zone, I'm very much open to just shorting around around these areas. So 48,800 I think is solid take right there. So something like this is what I'm looking for. This is just me setting up this idea over here. So we got this. All right, over here. Well, so just to give you guys the play-by-play over here. So just so you guys can see, like, look at how NQ already took out Tokyo highs, is trading higher. So it's been a stronger bull, while Dow has been slower to work its way towards Tokyo highs, let alone yesterday's New York highs. All right. So that's why I prefer Dow for the sell. So let's look at it here. So we're looking for a sell like right around here. And then it would, I'm looking at this as a continuation. Like, I really think we could work our way down pretty strongly, if not go even lower. That's Dow. All right, so we'll set alerts for where it gets to liquidity, if it takes out New York highs. Now, on top of that, what we also have, if you looked closely at NASDAQ, look at how NASDAQ moves its way down. So take a look at this. Here, NQ clears liquidity one more time. So it's starting to move sideways. We're starting to get some buildup here, some accumulation. You get one more push down. The market kind of chops up. It wants to leave this area, comes back again, rebalances. This is kind of like a shakeout setup. And then this just absolutely rips, right? Just goes on a rampage. So from here, I also do see the opportunity for a buy setup right here. Sweep of the low, some consolidation before it makes higher highs. The structure shifts on the 5-minute. So if we were to come back down to this level, and specifically if NASDAQ were to work its way down here after everything else. So let's say Dow is, working its way down, S&P, and NQ gets to the zone last. Then I'm very open to taking some buy positions at these areas and then looking for a rally. Kind of see really to where, kind of depends on how it works its way down. But I think we get at least we can count on a minimum 2R or more. We'll just kind of, this we will figure out based on price action that's yet to come. Okay. Another area that I'm sure some of you are focused on here is this setup here. So let me show you guys. NQ takes out the highs here. So here's where you have the liquidity sweep one more time, and then everything works its way down. So I don't know if you guys noticed this move here. But you have one last push higher right here, and then everything crumbles. On NQ. Now, this isn't my primary focus because of Dow. Like, Dow is a bit slower on the way up. So we'll see. This happens around 10 a.m., 10:10 Central Time. So that's a little bit under 2 hours after New York Open. So I want to just keep in mind like where the markets are at. So we'll see. We'll see how things continue. For all we know, with New York Open, maybe Dow wants to get really aggressive. Dow takes over, clears out tons of liquidity, and then that might set up this NQ play over here. Now for news, right, today we have we had unemployment claims earlier. So I actually totally forgot about that. I totally forgot. I could have been live earlier, but completely forgot. And then we have holiday, for everything else starting today. So NZD, AUD, so Asian session holidays kick off. And then we have, London, New York. So everything will be pretty much chill. And then Friday, we'll be back on Friday to see what's good. But this is what we're waiting for now. NQ and Dow. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you guys you have something in mind. You have a certain setup. Maybe it's a major that you're looking for. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you guys are cooking up over there. I'd like to kind of give you some feedback if there is anything to give there. All right, so we have New York Open here in a little bit. Let's see. I have an alert going off right now. So, okay. So starting to feel a little bit of an imbalance over here. Cool. That's like the Tokyo highs that we're trading into right now. About to take that out. So this is interesting. And this is what happened yesterday, which was not the best. Not my favorite type of price action, but we're seeing NQ go lower and we're seeing Dow go higher. So what happens in this situation? What do you do? This is where I tend to treat things very much independently. So there's kind of two things happening. There's this last spike up here. This happens like 25 minutes after New York Open. This fails to liquidate those highs. So check this out. This does clear highs, fails to liquidate them. Market comes back, mitigates that, and drops. So this is already taken care of. I wouldn't be looking for any reversals here or anything. All right, so whoa, off the rip, we see a spike up and down with Dow. Meanwhile, NQ is pushing lower. So look at this. They both push down. Now they're both maybe going higher. No? All right, let's go side by side here. Duolingo alert. What are you for? Oh, nice. Nah, it's coming back to re-entries. All right, so Duolingo, stock that we're looking for, but that's just buy-ins if anyone's interested there, but not going to be the focus right now since we have the volatility kicking in. The fun begins. Dow, okay, so yeah, we're kind of going back and forth. We're seeing Dow push down. NQ rallied higher. It's starting to push down as well, but not as aggressively. So we're definitely seeing more bearish momentum with Dow Jones. So Dow pushing lower and lower. We'll see if we get down to these levels, maybe even lower. And then if that brings NQ into a buying zone over here. So the buys are looking possible with NASDAQ. Let's give it some time. Dow made a super quick liquidity sweep, worked its way down, came back up, immediately dropped down. So, I mean, a mitigation, I guess, not one that I would trade because of how fast everything is going, and we're not really getting concrete demand or anything anywhere yet. So something to think about. And then oil alert just went off. So let's take a look at what this alert is. Okay, so this is now going back into what DeAndre talked about, right? He's like, hey, is this a shakeout? So we worked our way back down here. We chopped up a little bit to the side, maybe like 10 minutes or so. And we're kind of slowly working our way up to here, exactly to where we were looking for a sell. These are, I mean, this kind of looks like equal highs right here. I wouldn't say this is my favorite type of a shakeout. I would have preferred the market to trade sideways for a lot longer, like stayed lower in the zone before it tried trading up to here. It kind of came down and we quickly worked our way higher, faster. So I'm not in love with this idea. I wouldn't take a full risk on this. Max I would take on a shakeout here would be a half R. Depending on how you're viewing this as well, like where does the smart money buy really kick in here? Depending on that answer, I think you'll have a different perspective on this. So technically, I'll say the following. Technically, the move to the upside completely was all of this, about 51 points. This hasn't dropped that much. It was a little bit short. So there's a chance that this wants to go higher still, that this would take out these highs. The shakeout here is borderline as well. So I'm going to stay away. I'm not going to take it. It could play out. If it does, cool. If we come back a little bit higher, maybe I'll take a half R or even less. Whoa, okay, Dow bleeding. I look away for 2 seconds, Jesus. So Dow just absolutely melting down. Whoa. All right, perfect. So we're clearly more bearish with Dow Jones than S&P, than NASDAQ. So if NQ gives us trades down to here, for sure looking to take a buy or over here. So I'm actually going to set up for this idea now in case we get more volatility here, and that way I'm just ready for it. So let's set this up. We'll see if we get down here. Liquidity building up for Dow still down here. Now the question is this, do we have a trade over here or not? So we see the sweep of liquidity, the market crashes, comes back up. Even here, this is the 15-second chart. You see the market come up, trade sideways. New York Open spikes up again before it crashes. So a short really looks possible in here. The downside being that it doesn't sweep a ton of liquidity. It's a very small time frame push before it drops. So this, since it didn't sweep a ton of liquidity, I would risk a little bit. I would risk a little less. And ideally, this, we trade down here for a little longer before we would work our way back up here. Okay, so here we go. Now NQ starting to work its way back down. Look at how the move up here, it was about an hour. So we're pushing up, and we stay over here for an hour, hour 15. Structure is good, but then this is dropping very, very aggressively. So depending on how this reacts, this might just be a bounce and then that's it, or this could become a selling opportunity as well later on. So we want to see what kind of rejection we get, because we might just get a bounce and then a continuation. Because right now, let's say, could this have been setting up for a shakeout? Maybe, but we already broke below where smart money starts to come in. So now in order for this to be a valid sell opportunity later, this would need to break the lows, and this would have to look very different. All right, so Dow breaking those lows, as we mentioned. And now it's trading below Tuesday the 23rd. It's about to break below here. So cracking this low will be a lot of liquidity gets swept here. A lot of stops get triggered with the market coming down to this level. And there's some imbalance over here. So these could trigger some sort of reversals. Here you had a nice push down, squeeze before the continuation. So the market getting to this level would not surprise me. I wouldn't buy here. I wouldn't buy Dow since it's dropping with the most amount of force right now. Super intense sells, while NQ and Dow are also bearish, just not with the same kind of intensity. We just saw the sweep of this consolidation, so this took out a good amount of liquidity before starting to reverse. Still nothing I would do with this. That oil shakeout was perfect. I don't know. Because I didn't have enough price action yet, I didn't have a limit set, but the limit would have been a snipe. Honestly, I don't even know if it would have filled all the orders or not. But good looks on that, DeAndre. All right, I know I asked you guys about in the chat here some questions. So let's see. What do you think of oil buys down there where it mitigated from Mike? Here? Let me get back to him. So Dow just broke the lows. Right? It just cracked below these right over here. It's approaching this kind of imbalance over there. I think we could see a reversal out of here soon. And that's continuing to push NQ, S&P further down. The buys make more and more sense as Dow keeps pushing down, and thank you. And we have some coffee here. Yes, this looks so good. Divine. So, yeah, we have this setup here. Look at how Dow is so well below. This has swept tons of liquidity now by a long shot, while we continue to sustain this bullish structure. So this is the divergence. You have currently, well, my bad. You have the market with Nas still making higher lows, even if it gets down to here, it's still above, while Dow is trading well below, right? You're only going lower and lower here. So I have my entry here sitting at 25,577.25. Depending on the timing of Dow, let's say Dow, you know how I was looking for reversals with Dow in this area over here. So if Dow cracks below into here, and let's say we're just shy of the entry, I might market execute. But for now, just gonna let this thing do what it's doing. Okay. Silver buys under equal lows. All right, I'll take a look at that. You're not worried about the spike up at 1550 on Monday. So even if S&P is a lagger, you're still rocking with NQ? No, but it's not. S&P is trading further down. Yeah, we got to be ready, Greg. Hey, Mike, when the market trades inside of the mitigation zone rather than shooting up and making imbalance, I tend to second guess my entry. Can I get your thoughts of why you put your entry where you did, please? Based off of the last point of supply, so we had a good amount of support at these areas, so that's why I place it here. Historically, the market likes to bounce. Now that it's liquidated, these are still relevant areas. All right, Dow still very bearish, breaking lows again. Nice. NQ holding up really well. So with oil, I know you were asking like my thoughts on this, basically on the like where it had mitigated and what kind of where this all went down. So we basically see this push down and then go back up here. And this is kind of the move down. So you see a push to the downside here. But let me come back to this. So now we're getting NQ lower and lower. S&P even lower. Dow even lower. All right, I wasn't sure if that which alert this was, so I wanted to come back to this real quick. I already have my limit set, so in case we get one of those wicks, 8:45 candle, sometimes that 9 a.m. candle here, Chicago time, you get some volatility sometimes. Okay. So going back, right, to this was that sweep into London before everything rallied and continued. So this is, I think, the area that you're looking at, that push down. The market chops up here and then continues. So can this be a buy setup? I think it's possible. All right, here we are, guys. So NQ pulling into the zone. Dow starting to hold up still. We might get a bounce right out of the open here. A little bit. Maybe then it pushes down again. Okay. At this time now, we're starting to see the Dow actually start to hold structure. All right. Just so you guys can see the actual entries. Here we have it. See if we get it. If the market rallies from here, so, I mean, I could miss, right? This could miss me and then just absolutely fly. So if this thing were to just jump all the way over to here, then, you know, that's the trade, I guess. If you would prefer to, you know, be in for sure, then yeah, you could trade off the open instead of taking a lower position like I have here. This just helps the risk reward significantly. Right now, it looks like it's rejecting this sell-off right here. Whether this is going to be enough and this is going to take it, I'm not really sure. All right, we're getting that next leg down. I want to see YM hit this alert. Remember here we were looking at the 1 hour? Break that. That alert is like going into an imbalance over there. Ooh. Okay, so now we're starting to get into this zone. Missed our entry by less than 5 points. Playing at a support over here. There's plenty of, you know, consolidation over here. All right. There is YM taking out those lows that I mentioned while NQ is still sitting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let's see if this gives me a better setup. Did this make equal lows? All right, I'm going to wait. I think I'm going to regret waiting. Let me take a look at this. So we're starting to get a pretty good bounce out of here. 24 points already. Like I mentioned, Dow got to that zone. I should have listened to myself. I said if Dow hits that alert and this is missing, then I should pull the trigger. And then it just started moving away, so I didn't love the risk reward that way. This hasn't mitigated fully yet, so if it were to come back down lower, let's see if I'm willing to take this, if the RR is still going to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to market execute from here with half R. If it comes down lower, then I'll have a bit more ammo to work with here. But with the equal lows like this, I feel like it's going to sweep this. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to half R now. And then I have my other half R here. And then regarding take profit, the conservative exit is right here. So trading over into this area makes sense. This is looking like accumulation. This created more liquidity, so I'm going to actually extend this a little bit further. Discard this limit for now. So here's the limit set. Going back to NQ. NQ's move down was 36 points or so. So if this rallies, I want this would have to go up to like here. So did we already see that? I think we were just shy of it. 36.75. 35.25. That was basically the move. Interesting. Just shy, but basically doing it. What's different now, which is price action. Now look at this. Now Dow is starting to pick up a lot more bullish momentum. So we're starting to see Dow pull up. And Q still just shy of the mitigation that I want to see. Now we're starting to get everything rallying. Okay. So half R triggered at a worse risk reward, unfortunately. And then this TP was for the limit, but I'm going to delete this limit now. Now that we've gotten a really strong reversal. And then this, I'm going to actually extend this higher. It looks like our push down now here, at least for now, the intention was very different. So we pushed down to liquidate retail buyers all over the place. And let's see if we get enough momentum here to the upside. And then I'm going to tighten this up. Structure looks good. Let's see here. Where do I have this? So we see it go up, down. So it chops up and down. So pretty healthy price action across the board. And then basically it makes the lows right there. So I'm just going to go break even on this idea. I think if this runs properly, we could see us not just clear these highs, but then go after what we were talking about earlier, which would be taking out liquidity here, and maybe even trading up to this range. We just have to pay attention to what Dow is doing, because if you guys look at Dow Jones, Dow's got a lot. It's just moving very bullish these last 10 minutes. It's moving upwards much more aggressively than NQ is right now. NQ is struggling to continue higher and higher. So you see Dow just pushing up, no problems, very minimal retracements, whereas NQ is kind of fighting to stay up in this range. It's definitely a slower bull. So since the price action shifted, and now there's more bullish momentum with Dow, at least for this instant. That could also change. I just want to be mindful and see, how we continue to rally. But, this flip-flops all the time. So we might just continue to get NQ to just rip from here. And then look at how Dow has just stayed put. And now NQ is kind of taking over, starting to get a lot more momentum. So that can help us understand, okay, how far we can take this idea. And earlier we were talking about potential sells, right? We were like, oh, maybe we sell Dow Jones over here or something like that. And with all that being said, I would not do this. I wouldn't short Dow. And in the chat, let me know, guys, why wouldn't you sell Dow Jones? Why do you think I am not looking to sell Dow Jones? Why am I staying away from this idea? What do you guys think? Oh, man, this didn't copy over to my TopStep accounts. What the fuck? Oh, no, we did. Cool. We're in business. All right. So let me see. Chat. No demand. Yeah. No demand, no clear structure. Exactly. So, right, when we break through, it was just a quick push down and right back up. So we don't have a true intention that this is now bearish structure, that this is making it. Does it get below? Yes. But does this show us proof that it's bearish, which those are two different things? No. So this disqualifies this idea completely, in my opinion. Completely takes it out of the game. So just, this, if anything, depending on how the market continues to trade, if anything, this might be setting up for what, guys? This might be setting up for a completely different trade. So we take out the lows. Here's where the market starts to sell off from. It drops 87 points, instantly reverses. So now we're trading up here. We're moving sideways the last 5-6 minutes or so. If this continues to trade like this, sideways, then we might have a shakeout trade, and we can take this way up here. So as of right now, the price action is very different. NQ is pretty close to taking the out break even. So look at price action. Dow trading up here. NQ doesn't give a shit and is trading down here. So the shift in momentum is very much real right now. Maybe NQ catches up and goes up here. Maybe it just tags me out. It doesn't really matter. But what we are seeing is that the more that this can stay sideways or bullish, then this could end up being an idea. Now, if this, we'll just kind of wait and see. Maybe NQ survives here. But it is looking like this kind of idea. So let's say that the market does do what I'm thinking it could do. Because right now we, traded up to here, and then we've been moving up here for some time. So we held this structure, trading pretty well. I would be looking for a setup somewhere in here, honestly, like in this imbalance, like right in this zone is where I would look for a buy. So something like this. And then this thing can run to the moon. Maybe we get that liquidity that we wanted. But here's the sideways. Here's luring in retail sellers. This actually breaks below. So I don't know if this is going to be the minimum and now it's going to rally. That's possible. But if it does go lower, then I definitely see the potential. So something like this is what I'd be looking for. Ideally, this just keeps taking its time. Keep chopping. The other side of this would be for, let's say NQ starts to rally and it gets really bullish, and then Dow gets really bearish. That would have me changing my mind here. So actually what I want to do, can I change this order? Modify this. I'm going to set this off half risk just in case it wicks me in, and I didn't really want that to do it yet. I can't modify that. Okay. In a few minutes, if it stays like this, then I'll change this back to 1R. What I'm basically protecting myself on here is if it does happen and just crash into this before trading sideways a little bit longer, I don't want to have a full R if it like prematurely happens. NQ, man, holding up, fighting for its life right now. S&P also chilling, holding it down. So here we have about 10 minutes worth of sideways movement. We have this move down here. I'm already active in NQ. So I'm indifferent about this idea right now. If it, like, I'm good with half R. I would have wanted this maybe a little bit longer, but I'm cool with this triggering me in for a half R and then seeing if we get the reversal out of here. So the idea here is that now there's a whole bunch of retail sellers and the market's going to want to reverse and liquidate all of these sellers out of the market. That's kind of the logic behind this trade. And somehow, for now, NQ is alive by, I think, a point or less. So, yeah, let's see if this is going to, if this push down was purely to incentivize sellers, and then this thing wants to rip to the upside. So right now have that NASDAQ mitigation going, and then we have this Dow Jones shakeout going, and now it's just really seeing if we get a good pump out of here, like let's say we just take just even another move, another leg up, we'll be able to move stops and go break even. That would be ideal. So this needs to push a bit more, like trade it up into here. See if we get it or not. All right, tagged into structure right there. All right, so we got Dow going a little bit deeper into the zone, a little bit of drawdown. We have NQ holding up here still. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Bless you. All right, this basically has to tag into here. All right, NQ with a little bit more momentum. There we go. Let's get out of here, at least so our NASDAQ trade can run. Okay, so we're staying within this imbalance for now. Haven't quite, we're seeing about 100 something change of drawdown here with Dow. Momentum kind of shifted back into NQ being the bull after we got this kind of move here. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I would have wanted a better, this to hold a little bit longer for us to really get a higher probability shakeout. Now we've had very deep retracement here. This is looking like it needs to move quite a bit to get us into a better position here. NQ in the meantime it's pushing along. So let's see here. Might get stopped out on Dow. We'll see. Pretty close. Got like 5 points left of drawdown, give or take. right, so cool. Tagged out on Dow here. Well, with micros, again, not with YM. YM is staying in the zone. And then MYM, it broke below early. So if YM runs, I'm going to be a little salty. I already took the loss, so it is what it is. I'm not going to re-enter, even though it is holding on here for Dow, which is fine. So this is a good example on what I meant when we were trading sideways. So we had about 9 minutes. Okay. It's a little less than I thought it was a little bit more. So we were starting to build like demand up here before we pushed down again, which is also why I went with less risk. So instead of taking a full loss, wasn't necessary. We're able to stick with the play, and then took a half hour. Honestly, if I didn't have the limit set, I probably wouldn't have even entered it, but it was already there. But either way, not really a big deal. NQ trade, the good thing is that NASDAQ trade, right? This is still going lower lows while we're seeing NQ hold up with higher lows again. And the market's squeezing the way that it's squeezing right now. It does create more opportunity for a big move. However, since this is taking longer than anticipated, we do want to think about this from the other side. So, for example, the market swept up to here, so it cleared out tons of liquidity, then came crashing down. So we see a big move to the downside. Obviously, when it comes down to here, it's not really sustainable. So it comes right back up. So we see that there's less demand over here. Comes back in. So it's not like we have a lower low yet. So I can't really look for sells on NQ. But this also isn't really giving a tons of evidence that the market is going to run higher. So now I am, considering taking this profit a bit more conservatively. We'll kind of see where we're at here, but I'm more open to conservative exits now that we're seeing that this is just holding bearish structure a lot better. And then same thing with Dow. This idea with Dow from earlier, what we were talking about, this last move up here, okay, well, this is back on the table now. Because price did come back down. Price is still trading down here. So if we continue to hold it down like this, this could be an idea again. At least if we're not looking to sell, it's a good place to take profit if NQ does continue to go our way. So a couple options here. So right now, what has happened so far, right? We had the oil trade that happened last night. So that went well, but I didn't take anything there because I was asleep. We have NQ active. This is only active for half hour since it missed our original entry by about 4 points. So then I took an entry with half hour here at this area. This is the one that you guys can see actively right now. Took a half hour loss on Dow as we were looking for a shakeout that just didn't hold up. Wasn't enough demand apparently to hold up enough. So that's what happened there. And then outside of that, that's what's active from here. We have oil, which has kind of been chopping up and down here. So you got up, back down. So this is kind of a mess, in my opinion. Not something that I really want to trade right now, so I'm kind of going to leave that alone. NQ very close to getting stopped out here in a teeny amount. of profit. So taking out small time frame liquidity here. Not sure if this is going to run after doing that. So from there, I had that 6B alert that you guys, I think, just saw. So pound just set off an alert for me. I don't really know for what. I'll look at metals here in a second. So I had a pound alert go off. Can't remember for what. I think it was just an alert for. All right, so NQ, by the way, just got stopped out in. Actually, might have slipped me a little teeny bit. That's not a big deal. All right. So, yeah. NQ pushing lower. We got the original bounce here, which was about 53 points. Here was the original sell-off, which was about 37. So looking for another buy position, I don't think I'm going to do that. Well, I know I'm not going to do that. I just don't have any setups for it anymore. So not anything I'm specifically looking to participate in. This just decided to push down one more time, all the way down to here. So it looks like it just tiny little fill here. Not sure if that's going to play out or not. So going to just wait for entirely different setups to see if we do get anything or not. Otherwise, as you guys can see, Dow is still very bearish, still pushing down. So the counter trend buys didn't really hold up yet. Maybe we get something later, maybe not. And then let's see here. The 6A sells continue to melt. So if anyone decided to hold our sell from Australian from yesterday, then things are looking pretty good for you. I took profit over here at 66.89. No, 66. Where did I take profit? It was like right at the end of the day, right around here. So if you guys are holding, awesome. I talked about this being the distribution and for this to work its way back down into 66.30. So for all my swing traders, enjoy. This one was delicious. Currently running like a 6R. Nice. Are there any active setups is the question. And so you might be looking at NZD, maybe a little sweep here for a buy. NZD's been so bearish that I don't think it's worth getting in front of. If anything, what probably is going to set up best is going to be Australian for a buy. It's not dropping anywhere near as aggressively as everything else. Yeah, everything is just dropping and dropping. So there's nothing really close by to take, in my opinion, with majors. I think we might see something with metals. So let's look at metals. Here's gold. All right, so gold, we had a massive sell-off here during Asian session. Market comes up, starts to move sideways. So this was starting to look like a potential shakeout. You know, it comes up to fill the imbalance. It's just chopping up and down. A buy below here would have been really nice. But before it does that, it actually goes even higher. So now it's starting to break above these highs here, just for the market to work its way down anyways. So gold, not really a lot, not showing too much. Silver, on the other hand, we're seeing a break above the 5-minute high here. This traded down to create more liquidity. So there's just a ton of liquidity here for silver. A ton of liquidity. Do I want to take anything here? No. I don't really want to do anything there. Yesterday, we wanted the gold sells. This ended up playing out a little bit earlier than expected, so just missed, and then, yeah, you get all that. So is there anything to trade in real time? Well, let's see. Gold just now did a nice little sweep of the highs, and it's starting to get below this low. Maybe we get more bearish structure. And then silver rallies to the upside, trades into here, and is starting to work its way down. So let's say we're looking at this from a 1 minute perspective. This is what this looks like. And with the volatility that gold and silver have right now, and some testing that I've been doing here, these plays are not like these plays are happening pretty often now. Obviously, you want actual demand. This is starting to break below, but we don't really have proof that it's bearish yet. Silver is breaking below. So this move here was 854 central. Silver's bullish move was at the exact same time. This is all set. Okay. Shit. All right. So, yeah. This is what we have going on, guys. This takes the highs and then drops. So let's just see how structure settles in, if it's going to stay bearish or if it's just going to eat this up and go back up again. I don't know if you guys were asking me about buys like here or here. I think someone was asking me about buys with silver. I don't really want to buy anything around here because of liquidity down there. So, and everything just looks really efficient. So I'm not really too focused on that. Plus silver is dropping a bit more than gold right now. All right. Now back to indices for a quick update. Here we are now starting to break below. This is where I originally wanted to trade. So unless this rejection was just the order block rejecting and not the actual mitigation, which is possible, then this could play out. And considering that Dow has been very, very bearish, I still have half our ammo. So that's the only thing that sometimes gets a little confusing is when there's like these kind of moves where it could mitigate another candle, that's where you could potentially have an idea. So honestly, I'm going to use my other half R that I had on this original idea to take it from where we are now. And assuming that we didn't mitigate, but that we got the rejection of this right here. So let me walk you through that one more time. The initial bounce that we got here, right? This was either credited to one of two things. Either this rejected the order block specifically, especially since it's right off the open, or it did mitigate the sell and this was the mitigation, then that's the case. If that was the case, this trade is going to fail and it's going to hit stop loss. If not, and we were only mitigating the order block, not the entire sell-off, then this does have a chance of playing out. And this thing would go 30-something points and then be, in a good position. So this was something that I've been going over a lot of testing, and I've been sharing this here throughout the last maybe month or two, which is when you have a setup like this, and so I'll show you guys right underneath. So sometimes we get something like this, right? You get the market printing. So let's say it's building up liquidity. You see the liquidity capture. And then on the way up, right, it doesn't just blast through this. Sometimes it starts to create some traffic. So you see little candle drop here, something like this. And then you'll see the continuation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. A lot of times you'll see the market come back, start to approach the mitigation zone, but it'll trade right out of here. It'll reject, come down again, and then make the actual move. The reason it does that is because it's mitigating the order blocks first, then it comes back to exchange the sell to buy here. So that's kind of the biggest difference that I've noticed. And I know some of you guys have probably seen this, where it comes like right into your zone and then it misses your entry. It rejects it. It goes flying. From there, you're thinking, wow, what happened? Why is it this way? And then it comes back and then it tags you in, but you're not in it because you deleted it, and then it runs. That happens to me all the time. So I'm like, okay, how do I know when to delete my limit because it mitigated? And is there a reason that sometimes it does come back and it does play out? And this haunted me for years and years and years, until I started to realize that when it does that, it's because typically there was order blocks like within this formation, not the sell-off, but it plays out of these order blocks first, then it makes the move. So in this example, because we were still diverging, so NQ bullish, YM still bearish. So because of that, that was like a helping hand to going, this could still definitely play out. Not that it has to go to the moon or anything like that, but we could still get at least a pretty decent movement here, at least to liquidate, some of these sell positions trading up to here or something. So yeah, anyways, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. See if we get something like that. And that still would give us a pretty decent risk reward. This now looks like a 3.28 RR. Obviously, I know that this was very quick decision making that you probably weren't prepared for. So I can't imagine you maybe even took this. But yeah, it was something that I was willing to still just kind of position myself in because of that, for those specific reasons. So right now, I haven't quite gotten those 37 points, but we are seeing a pretty good rejection so far. Playing right into the imbalance here. Meanwhile, okay. It's holding up okay. All right. Give me a second, guys. I think this is it here. And then all right, here you go. Okay. So does that make sense? Like why I kind of had an epiphany like in real time. I'm like, wait. This was a different type of this rejected into this price action. We hadn't quite mitigated the earlier sell-off. And it was just, I was looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. This is still like diverging really well. Sold out today, mental. I've just passed that first ever funded account, which I bought something like 150 trades nearly a year ago. Let's go. You were down 7%, and now you're up. Now it's up 8%. Epic. Can't go broke taking profits, for sure. It typically happens. So Vaughn, to answer your question, it typically happens right around the open. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to tighten this up. I'm going to break even here. Congrats, everybody. So wait, does that mean you're funded twice now? With your futures one and then the older one? Congrats. Guys, what we're going to do here in a little bit, so I know some of you, before you go, we're going to be handing out the Tradetopia awards. So give me a little bit, and we're going to start that here in a sec. But yeah, we're going to be awarding some people for their efforts, for just the work they've been putting in. So just to keep you guys in the loop here. And then looking at price action, look at how much more aggressive now NQ is, especially after clearing liquidity here, starting to rally. Hasn't quite swept this price action yet, but I think we can get there. And then that, I believe Dow has created a lot of liquidity over here. A lot of sellers are back in here after we got these pullbacks. So the market working its way back up there, to me, looks pretty good. Why does your chart look different to mine? These are, let's say these are the micro ones. So maybe this looks different here. Are you on the current contract, NQH? Jonathan, Uso, Tradevate, Ninja Trader. Your chart is delayed. Well, does it say that it's delayed? Over here, it'll either, if you're looking at it only on TradingView and you don't have the TradingView data feed, then it'll be delayed. If you're looking at your account on directly on Tradevate or on Project X, then it should be in real time. So, for example, so if you're looking on your Tradevate, especially with prop firms, typically they give you that access to real-time price action. Should be good. All right, here. Oh, give me 1 second. All right, guys. So yeah, as you guys saw, mine is back at. I have mine at break even. Right over here. A little bit more, cover the commissions. Starting to see Dow push a little bit more. All right, let me check. Does that help, Alonzo? Did the contracts expire? That's why you have to update them. Been behind for 10 minutes on TradingView the whole time. That'll make things impossible. Like trading intraday, it will be impossible like that. It's good. All right. All right, great. So, all right, guys, I'm going to right now, you guys, I know some of you we're going to be doing these awards here. So, while I'm managing this trade. So, check this out, guys. We have quite a few here for you guys. And this is going to be sent to you all as well. So let me go ahead and present. We present you. This is from Nance and myself, obviously. So we present you guys with the Tradetopia awards here. All right, first award goes to Luis Barcena for most consistent implementation. This is a tough one. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This could have gone to a couple different people. Yeah, this definitely could have gone to a couple different people. But Luis, man, you've just shown so much. Like, you just went deep. When, especially because you have a slightly different entry model than I do. And at no point were we like, hey, you got to force yourself to change. But every element, the entry management, making those adjustments, the stop loss management, everything that we're going through the syndicate, being on every single session, hey, do this, show me the worksheet, show me, 50 different sample sizes, all of that stuff, bro. Congratulations. You've been absolutely crushing it. So shout out to you, Luis, for doing that. Show Luis some love in the chat as well. Second award goes to Mr. Kevin Block for strongest communication, personally. So just reaching out to me during the good, the bad, the ugly, throughout really every phase of it. I'm going to be honest. I know, at least with the syndicate crowd, most of the conversation happens within the community. And so some of you are, in there more often. But I think just being more direct, more specific. I'm going to say this too. I think this is where most, and this goes to across the board since the beginning of, as I got into entrepreneurship and leading and coaching traders, I think people still to this day under-communicate by a lot. So, Kevin, you might even be surprised that you won this because it's not like you're reaching out to me even every day or anything, or every other day. But it's just people aren't really on top of it like that. So shout out to you and shout out to everyone that's always plugging in and just requesting feedback and just communicating throughout their journey overall. Sometimes, guys, all you need is perspective. Now, embodiment of the certain way. The certain way is one of Tradetopia's pillars. It goes beyond just charts, but into life, relationships, perspective, habits, and more. So this award goes to Sophia for just doing things in a very detail-oriented manner, very specific, very thorough. This is what leads to breakthroughs and just is the embodiment of being, I guess, someone that's very intentional. So shout out Sophia for this. Next award goes to Lindsay and Seth Hill for being the Tradetopia pioneers, embodying the Tradetopia spirit, representing, everything that we're here for, always giving a helping hand. I'm sure so many people here have probably received help from these two individuals. And they were also the first people to join the syndicate, even before it was out. We had a call for our anniversary, and we were having a conversation, and they're like, hey, if you ever do something, like we're in, no matter what, just let us know. And I was like, and this was like right before we were going to launch this. And so they were actually the first people to know. So shout out to Lindsay and Seth for just honestly just being amazing human beings. So shout out to you guys. We appreciate you. We adore you guys. Tradetopia's drippiest. So got to give it over to Harshi. I feel like we spelled the last name wrong. Majan? I think it's an H and it's Mahajan. All right. Well, we love you, bro. And the drippiest. So you have, I think, scooped almost everything we've had so far on the store. So appreciate you for representing. And you got to, show the people out there in Canada and Toronto what's up. So shout out to you, Harshi. And honestly, thank you for also contributing to the community all the time. Okay. The youngest Padawan, Brandon Rands, being the youngest in the syndicate. The reason we wanted to do this was because you have to have a certain way of thinking, a certain confidence in yourself to be 17, 18 years old and commit to doing this as a profession and, positioning yourself financially to be able to make higher levels of investment and just be committed. 18 years old, I was not doing these types of things. I was doing the opposite. I was going negative instead of going positive. So I just want to, give you your flowers for not having, your age define you. It's just your levels of maturity and what you really want out of life. All right, the most stamps on the Tradetopia passport. Now, guys, I'm going to take a quick break on this, actually, because I just want to double check to see where we're at here. All right, so we've been pulling back stop, start, and profit. I just wanted to keep you guys up to date with that. Okay, so most stamps on the Tradetopia passport. Shout out Isaiah, who's been everywhere with us since we started doing these retreats a couple years back in these workshops. Colorado, Puerto Rico, Colombia, and I'm sure we'll see you at the next one here in a few months, which hasn't been announced yet, but you guys will get access to that here soon. So shout out to you, Isaiah. The most OG. Got to give the award to my boy, Armando Valencia. Longevity, sticking to the grind, giving it his all, evolving in a lot of different ways. Most people don't survive, let alone thrive in these environments. And I think there's something people say like, oh, you were early. That's why you're able to do anything to any level of success. But seeing something early and doing it is for a long period of time is very different. Think about how many people saw Bitcoin early, but they didn't hold it. There was millions of people that saw Bitcoin under 1,000. Tens of millions under 1,000. Didn't mean they did it. Didn't mean they kept it. Didn't mean it turned into anything. So shout out to the OG, Mondo here. Most accounts passed. This one goes to Kevin Block, who made it his job to just pass accounts on accounts and accounts and accounts and accounts. There's definitely a few others that were pretty close by. A special shout out to Joe Ryan, who was also on a mission. Shout out to a couple other people in the Tradetopia community itself that were just going crazy, passing accounts. So good stuff, guys. Keep it up. Kevo, Mr. Kevin Navarrete, also, I think, I don't know how many accounts you pass a week, basically, at this point. So shout out to you. We love to see it. Like, at the end of the day, guys, remember, it's not just about what you keep, but about what you get, but what you keep, right? And best attendance. So this one was a very close, if not maybe a tie. And this one goes to Brandon Kinder. Seth, I'm going to tell you, bro, I'm pretty sure you guys were like neck and neck here, but you already won an award. So, don't get greedy, all right? But best attendance, I think only one session was missed throughout the last, I think maybe 2 or 3 years. So this one goes to Brandon Kinder. So shout out to you for consistency and best attendance. It shows literally today you're hitting new levels on your accounts. You just got funded last week. So shout out to you. Consistency pays. Biggest payout, the boy Jason P. Syndicate payout here. Shout out to you for 5 figures. There were other people that had some awesome payouts this year as well. We had some people in the multiple 5 figures that didn't want to be listed here for privacy purposes. But congratulations to all of you. So a special shout out to some other people, Jack, Yamane, my brother, some big payouts as well. So we'll keep these going. Good job, guys. So top shelf attitude. Man, got to give it to the boy Tio. Tio always showing love, coming in with the best energy. I don't know how you can't feel good being around it. And when you're trading, having good spirits goes a long way. And this also goes to Mr. Joe Ryan for just coming in with high energy, always love. And these things do translate into your trading because your belief is going to match your attitude towards yourself and towards the markets. So no surprise that both of these people are also funded and are holding their accounts, and you only grow when you have these types of environments. So a couple more, guys. Most improved, I got to give it to my boy Corey. Corey, you started the year real different to where you're at now, right? To different places physically in your trading, overall, this your approach, your belief system. Amazing transformation, man. Crazy what can happen in less than a year. So shout out to you, bro. And the feedback, Chief. Got to give it to Vaughn. Vaughn, you take it super well, even when, sometimes it's hard to absorb it like that and making changes. But good stuff, man. Keep it up. Requesting feedback and making changes in your feedback. Got to show you some love there. So, and then we have lastly, we have a handful of members that have Spanish as their main language, but understand English enough and bet on yourself to do the syndicate. So shout out to Carlos Echevarria for doing that, for not making English be the excuse on why your trading doesn't level up. So, and shout out to everyone else that's in here all the time. A todos los que están aquí conmigo que su lenguaje primario es español, pero se conectan, aunque la mayoría es en inglés, y hacen preguntas porque no hay excusas para mejorar tu situación, ¿verdad? Entonces, un abrazo, los veo, sigan adelante, chicos, and yeah, shout out to you, Carlos. Same thing here, Cesar out there in, other parts of the world, different time zones, different language, still making it happen. Fuerzas, chicos, no hay excusas. Alejandra, same thing. Shout out to you, Estefania, Daniel, Melara, Maria Cornejo, we got Fabricio, Jenny. So all of the people, todos los que se conectan en español, que ese es su lenguaje primario, pero están aquí presente. Un abrazo, chicos. Los celebramos. Rodrigo, what's up? Sure. Fabricio, Jenny. Good? All right. Best trading guy. What? Where did this come from? All right. Nance snuck me in here. Appreciate you. What's happening? Most handsome mentor and best husband.
Good job, babe.
Thanks. Wow. That's love. Appreciate you. I like the most handsome mentor, best husband. Let's go. This is lit. Sick. That's love. All right. Appreciate you. I'm here blushing on screen. I think I got stopped out while that happened. So that's trading. Stopped out in profit, came back down. This might run too. That's the saddest part though. All right. Anyways, so yeah, shout out to all you guys. We wanted, show you love. Trading can be a pain in the ass. It's such a challenge. So, if we can create a space to show some love and to, I want you guys to know you're seen. There's so many people that put in a lot of work that, I'm sure, you didn't get an award, but you put the effort in. You've been showing up most days. And of course, like, it's not just a participation. It matters, like, what you do, the quality of your work. So, obviously, if you didn't get awarded and you're doing your thing, don't let that discourage you by any means. That's funny. Did not expect that. So that's funny. You'll never get stopped out in life with Nance. That's a fact. That's facts. Yeah, and let's give it back. I think the biggest award, the backbone, the pillar, the foundation of Tradetopia honestly goes back to Nance. Like, she's doing everything behind the scenes, what everything looks like, just making sure that I'm properly fueled, the certain way, the aesthetic of everything, the merch, the attention to detail, like the thoughtfulness. I mean, like, if you ever thought to yourself, like, wow, they do things different, it's probably because she thought of it, to be honest. So, yeah, like, that's just the facts. So definitely not possible without her. And the growth overall, to be able to give back to you guys, it really gets rooted back to her. So it's a team effort. I'm the one in front of the camera, but she's operations, 100%. All right, let me look at the chat here. Let's see it. Oh, y'all were going crazy in here. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So congratulations to everybody. Luis is in a tux right now. I love it. Good analysis. Way to go, guys. So congrats to everyone. And yeah, we ended up getting stopped out, break even on this one. After I think it was mitigation, right? We saw the 30-something points. Yeah. So chasing after this now is, I think, more of, again, a chase rather than the actual, like, following your setup. Most energetic, Brandon. That's Brandon Flores. Brandon Rands is from AZ. But most energetic would go to Brandon Flores, for sure. That would be the Energizer Bunny Award. For sure. Yeah, the Kevins, if your name is Kevin, apparently you pass challenges with your eyes closed. the award for the best trading education. That's love, man. You guys are awesome. I signed my own. Apparently, forged. My signature was forged. I will change my name to Kevin. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up. So much love. We'll see if there's anything else here later. You know, I'll let you guys know. The shorts look promising for later today. You know, we're getting the market just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. So we'll see. Dow's holding up decent. This might be one of those trades where NQ does go anyways. So, you know, I guess we'll see. And then quick recap on gold and silver. Silver sells look like they're going to be an opportunity later in the day. If not, then just wait till Friday. Market's going to be closed. Oh, one last thing, guys, and this is just because this is really cool that they did this. But the 25K and the 50K accounts for the Lightning accounts. So if you wanted to trade an instant funding account, the 25K and the 50K accounts are 50% off. I don't know if I've ever seen them at 50% off. Maybe Black Friday. But if you were looking for instant accounts, then those accounts are 50% off right now. So you guys can check that out. You can use my code, right? The MAGO. And as you guys know, all those affiliate commissions, they go back just to the giveaways. So it's kind of in your benefit to use them. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the link to that should be in the description. I'm not sure if that's there. Yes, it's in the description. Cool. So check it out. Code is MAGO for that. Here, I'll just drop it in here. Here you go. Check it out, guys. 50%. It's pretty lit. So if you're thinking about doing that, I think it's available for the next week or something. So no rush. And of course, lastly, it wouldn't be right if I didn't tell you that you should do the syndicate. You know, like if right now you are not getting the payouts you want, or you feel like you're not seeing it, like what is it that I'm missing? You're probably just missing feedback. Huh? Oh, there's two more. Hold on. There's two more awards, guys. So the last two awards. Oh, these are cool. I like these awards. All right, hold on, guys. We have awards that I guess I wasn't refreshed, so my bad. The Trading Family Goals goes to Karen and Ruben Torres. So shout out to you guys. And James is going to be a sniper of all snipers. The Most Nomadic Trader to Greg Nisko. He was really everywhere. Trading from the from fishing boats and things. So shout out to you, Greg. We see you in the mountains, in the deserts, in everywhere, doing your thing. And Brandon Flores, the energy bringer. So keep bringing the energy, man. Let's keep seeing it. And that's it. All right. Awesome. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. So anyways, my last shameless pitch is that I want to see you guys win, and I 100% believe you can do it on your own. But if you want to accelerate your process, then doing it with us in the syndicate, I do think is what will help you, like exponentially, especially if you've been just doing the same things over and over again. So if you ask yourself, if you're tired of doing that and making the same mistakes, then is it costing you more not to make the changes? That's kind of my question. Is that the real cost at this point? So keep that in mind. I wish you guys the best as you're going into 2026. And here, I'll throw in something, just a little bone if you're like, should I do it? Should I not? Every person that does join here for the next week, every person that joins for the next week will also start with a funded account. Not only will you have a funded account to trade once you pass phase 1 in our syndicate, so not a challenge, but once you get through phase 1 in the education, you'll have a funded account to actually use. You will receive some merch from us as well. And you will have our entire psychology workbook included. So book that call right there. If you book a call, show up. If you've booked calls before and you're just like not showing up, stop booking calls. It doesn't help anybody. So, be committed. If you're afraid of commitment, then this trading might not work out for you because you do have to show up most days. But yeah, that's what we're going to do here. And I'll do this. For the program itself, $2,000 of this program, you don't have to pay up front. You can pay out of payouts only because that's how much I believe that we can help you level up in your trading. Will it be in your first month? I don't know. But can it be later on? Yes. And now here's what I also will say. If you're already getting payouts, but you're not quite at a 6-figure or 7-figure mark yet, book a call and we can get you sorted so that you learn how to scale your accounts, keep them, accelerate those payouts. So with that being said, enjoy. I threw on my Santa. For sure. I'm missing the hat. Oh, the trophy here. Just so you guys don't forget, I am the most handsome. But take care, guys. Have an amazing 2025, and I'll see you in 2026. Take care, guys. Peace.